welcome everybody. Great to have you with us. Excited to show off our new home, the Ubben facility. Obviously, Ubben was first built in the late 1990s. It was the first standalone basketball facility of any school in the country. And for a long time, we were the model. But we knew as we headed into this more recent time that our needs had changed. And so it was a great opportunity for us to bring a refresh to the Ubben space. We've moved out on all four sides. And so we've moved north, south, east, and west. We have changed the orientation of the building in two meaningful ways. One, you'll remember from how it was before, the parking lot's always been here to the south, but really the front door to Ubben was always on the north, which candidly never made a lot of sense to me and probably to almost anybody. So we have flipped that. We now, of course, are in the grand atrium here, a more sense of arrival. And then the second thing is that we flipped the sides of the building. So you'll recall the men traditionally have been on the east side of the building. They now are on the west. Key notes, I think, one, total cost. Again, this has been reported, $40 million. I asked for a few of the fundraising statistics before I came over here. We've now raised about $34 million. Total square footage, the original building was 40,000 square feet. The building you'll see today is about 78,000 square feet. The two courts are now about a court and a half. So those have each grown about 50%. Pretty much every other space, the locker room, the training room, the weight room, all the spaces you'll see are at least triple the size of what they were in the prior facility. And they are all in the top 2 or 3 in terms of size and scale of any facility in the country. So we'll start in this space, again, kind of the grand entryway, place that we lacked in the original facility, place to tell the story of Illinois basketball. Obviously, this is an area that remains very much under construction. We'll have a nice large video board up here that we can use for a lot of different features. We'll have 2 really nice graphic elements here on each side. And then as visitors walk in, they'll have the opportunity to either go left into the men's coaches' offices where we'll end up here today, or head to the right into the women's offices on the east side of the building. So again, here about 50% bigger than the original courts. You all recall where the wall was originally. When you move out from there, we've gained about 50% there. We have some natural light elements, which of course we never had in the original building, being able to bring in some of the sunshine. We've got the new lighting throughout a lot of trying to feature the orange, the graphics, make it a more dynamic, fluid space. It's the newest floor technology. It's remarkable how quickly gym floor technology changes. This has got a new cushioning system on the bottom of it that is now actually being replicated on the new court that we just installed in State Farm Center. But it helps alleviate some of the burden on the joints of our athletes as they train here. All right, obviously this is our sports medicine facility. And one of the things I probably should have mentioned at the outset is, as you can tell, in some senses we're still very much under construction. If you remember the old building, this was essentially the original north wall. And so this was kind of the end of the original space. I'm sure you all recognize that stairwell. That was one of the remnants from the original space. But sports medicine space now, we've got all the traditional tables and treatment areas over here. You're starting to see a lot of space for athletes to do rehab, be on their feet, engage with different types of equipment, machineries we have over there behind you. And then also the hydrotherapy space. We've got in here hot and cold plunge, and then the underwater treadmill, which helps with a lot of injury rehabilitation. Guys, file on in here. Obviously the players' locker room, kind of part of their players' compound back here. So again, mirrored on both sides. We've got the men's on this side, women's on the other, but they walk down this main corridor and then they can shoot off into their bathroom, shower space. This is their main changing area.
This is something we can be very proud of, from the eye up on the ceiling to the graphics. The most important thing to me is this is their place. This is their space. They know that they can come in here. Very few of us coaches are coming in here, and this is kind of their domain.
One thing that we really focused on is just the flow and functionality of the building. And again, I give a lot of credit to our architects, H&TB, but as you go around the country, some of these spaces you'll see that they have a lounge because they want to be able to say they have a lounge, but it's not anywhere close to where the players actually spend their time. And so the continuity and the contiguous nature of all these spaces was very much intentional because we want to make sure that each of these spaces is in a position for the athletes to fully utilize it. So we'll head here to the north into the player lounge. This is their space, really their domain, their area for them to be completely at ease, out of the public light, in a place where they can really be amongst friends and be comfortable. And so this is again important for us to be right off the locker room. We'll go from here right around the corner into the weight room. A couple things you'll notice. One, if you think about the weight rooms that we all grew up around, you remember these racks and racks of dumbbells, right? Just a whole wall full of dumbbells. Today's technology is different. Now we have these power blocks on these racks that you can selectorize how much you want the dumbbells to hold. And then probably one of the more interesting features of the room, down at the opposite end, that's a gymnastics spring floor that's been built into the rubber floor. Our strength coaches believe in doing a lot of body movements, and this gives our athletes a softer, more forgiving place to engage in some of those techniques, those training mechanisms. But great technology throughout here, obviously a great sound system, great view, just a really energetic space for our athletes to come in, and obviously this has been a central part of our success, and we expect that to continue. We want to make sure they had a space befitting of what happens in this room. This is the primary nutrition center. A lot of different things here than what we had before. We'll get up into the coaches' offices here in a minute, but each head coach has a little bit of a window from that. So that's Brad's office over on that side. Sean on the other side has hers. Has a little window from their office down into the court. We'll get a chance to see that here in a minute. All right, we'll head back upstairs. So this is all original Ubben space. This was the women's basketball coaches' offices. Obviously it's been reconfigured, changed around a bit, but this is now kind of a multi-purpose space. We have kind of our formal dining room for the team. Gives them some comfortable chairs, a place where that can happen. And we'll wrap up in Brad's office. This was really a focal point of the project as we did travel around and look, again, not just in basketball, but in football as well. We wanted to make sure we had a premier space for the coaches to work. They spend an extraordinary amount of time here. It was important to us to have a comfortable space for them, a functional space. I've got a great office, and I would probably trade him straight up. So, but by and large, I really am proud of it, and I think we got under the roof what we needed to get under the roof in order for the program to take the steps that we expect.
I think some people do the bells and whistles, and they're pretty obnoxious, and they look good and they sound good, and then that's all they are. But they're of no substance. And I think we've got enough of the bells and whistles, and it looks perfect, but it's just the right mix. And this is a basketball facility. You come to Illinois, we're going to help you get better, and you can do that in this facility, and first class, and be in a place that's comfortable for you. And so, yeah, I think about recruiting. It's one of the big pushes I had. We were, it was hard. We weren't winning, and we didn't have anything sexy, in terms of facilities. And so, in comparison to the people we were recruiting against, and now it's pretty good. Good luck beating this.